a sinus infection. I feel like the last couple of years I've been more prone to sinus infections. Maybe it's because of cigars and like retrohaling and stuff, but
Could be because of the Rona.
that's also entirely possible. On top of pollen, but it's been
And I,
pollen
when,
season here
oh
already, like
yeah,
crazy. So.
yeah. It's been wild, man. Waves of yellow dust across the eastern seaboard. Um, and when I say Rona, I don't mean like
The yellow death.
I don't I don't mean like vaxes and the virus and blah blah blah. I mean like yeah, the virus could have made us more or less susceptible to one thing or another, but at the same time, we were so quarantined from things and like masks and like hand sanitizer, and I feel like we didn't have a good germ load for like 2 or 3 years. So now that like we're back to the normal swing of things, we're like, oh yeah, I forgot you can get sick and it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on because my coworker was sick last week, and so she had called out. But then Jake also said after we got back from Francis Marion that he wasn't feeling great. So I don't know if it's something we got while we were there. Gabe Schuler had a fever and stuff when we were up there, so maybe it was something he had. Who knows? But
Who knows?
I left work early today, which like never happens. I don't leave work.
Yeah,
and I just like got to a point where I was just sitting at my desk on the computer. And I just started sweating like profusely. Like all of a sudden, I was just like drenched, and And I hung out for another like 2 hours, and I was like, okay, I'm going home. I'm going home to sleep. Maybe that'll help. But
yeah. No, I was there. I was there a week ago, man. I went on a business trip with my employer for 3 days, and I assume I contracted something from one of the multiple airports we were in. The worst part is I have this like cough that sounds like the croup, but everyone's like, oh, how's the smoking working out for you? I'm like, yeah, obviously smoking doesn't help, but it's just like postnasal drip, man, just getting in there, you know. But we're here, we're alive, and we're back. We're back.
All right, it's been like a month.
It's been like a month. It's wild. 202 in the flesh.
202. This week we were planning to be joined by Jenna Palmisano to talk about pentastomes, but that is being kicked to next week. Happened kind of short notice, so it's just going to be us this week. Yeah, did I have the meat sweats? Katie asked the same thing. She's like, "You have the meat sweats?" I was like, I hadn't eaten anything like all day. I was like, "It's not meat sweats."
People make fun of the meat sweats. Like that's a thing.
It's real.
It's real. If you never got the meat sweats, you're either not eating enough meat or you haven't eaten the right meat. Keller.
Yeah. I mean, the sweating could also be because I had like one monster this morning and that was it. And so my body was like already going through withdrawals by noon. So
yeah.
But this episode is brought to you by blackboxcages.com. They've been crazy busy. I see when their inbox when they get messages and stuff, and it's been blowing up. So
it got Jen working on my order.
Oh yeah, I need to.
Oh yeah,
need to talk to her about me and Jake still and get that ironed out.
I think I'm annoying her with my nonchalantness. So I reached out and I was like, "Hey, I want to do. I'm trying to finish a baker's rack, and I haven't decided what critters are going to go on that rack because I'm kind of playing, you know, the never-ending game of Snake Room Tetris, right?"
Yep.
And I was like, all right, well, on this one rack, because I've got the girdle tail lizards on the bottom, and I've got the stiletto tubs on the tippity top because they're fairly light because it's just a bucket of dirt, you know. There's no like rocks and decor or anything. It's just leaf litter and dirt. So I was like, all right, I could, you know, XT2 sliders and then do a 3-foot below it, or maybe I could just do 3 2-footers or 4 2-footers. So I reached out to Jen and I was like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. And she's like, well, do you want the 3s or do you want the 2s? I was like, whatever works, whatever's easier. And she's like, well, if I ship the 3s, they may have to be, are you okay if they're flat packed? And I was like, yeah, flat pack's cool. Like I got a drill, like no big deal. And I was like, but I kind of want the 2s. She goes, well, do you want 2s or 3s? And I said, surprise me.
God, people do that. Strangle them.
Well, because
like, what color shirt do you want? Oh, I don't know. You pick. And it's like,
nice.
If I pick and you complain about it, you're still getting that damn shirt. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me to pick and then be upset when I pick. Like,
yeah. Well, so I think we decided on 2 XT2s and 1 XT3, all sliders with Venom locks. I think one of them's going to be my Miami jungle carpet. I think I'm gonna give him a good enclosure because he's getting a little bigger. He's about 1.5 years, 2 years now, and maybe older. Crap, he's still dinky. He's a boy. And then I think I'm gonna do the 3-footer. I'm gonna put my big adult female puff and give her the enclosure, the vivarium she deserves. So
the hate box she craves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
she's gotten so spunky, man.
If you're in the market for a rack or a cage, head on over to blackboxcages.com. Shop around. You put something in the cart. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 10% off your order. Save on shipping. If you're in the southeast of the U.S. and you're within a reasonable drive to North Georgia, there's a pickup option. So save on shipping even more, or save on your order even more, and just go pick it up straight from them. See the operation. Meet Jen and Clint. It's worth the drive. And then fullviesapparel.com. Check that out. Running a sale right now, spring sale now until the 11th at midnight. Everything on the website is buy one, get one half off. There is no code needed for that. It is automatically applied at checkout. I was going to make a code. Then I was like, you know what? Let's make it easy. You don't even have to think about it. You just hop on there, buy it. Mugs, shirts, hats, everything. Buy one,
and
get
dude,
one half.
So I was scrolling on my non-reptile Instagram, and I get Fulvius ads all the time because Instagram knows what I like, right? And I didn't realize how many mug designs you had, man.
I just added a bunch. Like I just added like another 10 the other day because originally it was only 3.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm selling myself short by not offering pretty much all the designs in the mug form because some people may not want it as a shirt. So
yeah,
slowly adding. Yeah, I did the crocodile, like the skeletal skull lithograph.
Yeah, I saw that.
So slowly adding everything. It just takes time. So, other than that, still gotta prep for Daytona as far as what I want to take inventory wise. And
I know, man, the spring is just flying by.
This year's flying by, dude.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
We're getting old.
I know. It's wild.
It moves. It's like a roller coaster that you have no control over. It gets faster the longer you're on it. You know.
It
sucks.
Yeah, man. I was looking for a picture from September on my phone, and I was like scrolling. I was like, did I pass it? I'm like, oh no, we're almost in May. Crazy.
Dusty shouldn't be scared for his first experience. Daytona will be fun. He'll enjoy it. He'll fit right in.
I only had the pleasure of meeting him once at your wedding, and he'll fit right in.
Yeah,
especially if he puts up with Danny's crap.
Yeah, if he can handle that psychopath, he's in good company.
Yeah. Oh man.
So fullviesapparel.com. Buy one, get one half off now until the 11th. More stuff being added. I have some other shirts that I started, like designs that I worked on that I just have to upload to the site. That takes a little bit more time than the mugs do, so I'll get around to that when I can. The Boyga, and then that South Carolina corn snake design, which again might be my new favorite. Like I feel like I say that a lot, but that one being home, and that's got a picture. That's using a picture of one of my Spring Islands as the source material for it too. It's pretty cool. So Harry has pent up Daytona zoomies to get out.
Nice.
So check that out, and then Cold Blooded Caffeine, the best coffee money can buy. Not that stuff that they get from the little meerkat. What the hell are they called? Lemur things, where they like
civet.
Yeah, they get they extract it from the excrement of the, like, this is way better than that.
Yeah,
because it doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, it's poop-free coffee.
It is. It's handcrafted.
Poop-free.
By Trey and McKendrick at coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Get yourself the Snakes and Stogies blend. Trey was going to come to that Francis Marion trip, but unfortunately, I think he had a wedding or something he had to go to. So I did
Excuses,
not get to see
excuses.
him. I know. I was excited. But yeah, best coffee around. Whether it's our blend, whether it's one of the other many blends they offer, house blends, signature blends, you won't be disappointed. Grab you a bag. There should be a link down in the description below. Daytona Keller is growing restless. That's that. It's a little concerning. That strikes a little fear in me more than anything else because
It's all good, man. Nothing but love.
yeah,
Man, love.
that's horrible. What's been going on? I've hardly talked to you at
I
all.
know. We
Few weeks.
actually haven't talked in like at least 2-3 weeks. It's wild, man. And I've been so out of it, which is work and trying to catch up on sleep. I haven't even been on the gram or any of the group chats or anything. But Anna Marie and I have been doing a little night cruising, just kind of local to her house. And I think I said it last time we were on. Got a awesome aberrant scarlet king and my first ever swamp snake, which was tiny and adorable and awesome. Those of you who have Instagram, that's the picture I posted, was that swamp snake tonight. And then we went out again looking for toads, saw some crazy Palm Beach County Southerns. And it's so amazing, man. Like I was talking to Billy Hunt about this, and that species, the Southern American toad, is so variable, literally county by county in Florida. And I've had the privilege to see them in at least 8 or 9 counties in Florida.
Thank you, Nate.
And every single one is different. And it was wild because we have not had any rain in some time. We had a little bit of drizzle the past couple of days. And when Anna Marie and I went out to this one spot by her house, it's very sandy soil. It's a bunch of cypress trees that are in low-lying, like they're bigger than vernal pools, but they're 1,000% seasonal wetlands. So right now they are completely dry. It's just sand with like dead water plants. And then come end of June, early July, it's going to be 3 feet of water. It's wild. Well, hopefully we'll see what happens. But dude, finding these southern toads that are this crazy moss green color with a white vertical stripe, and they're covered in white dust. And I realized that it's sand, but they're so soft-footed in their movement of the terrain that barely any sand sticks to them. And the only sand they really have on them is either when you grab them, you stick sand to them inadvertently,
Right.
or just a light dusting of sand on their back. It's so wild, man. And so we caught those and had some fun with them, let them go. You know, it's a protected wildlife management area, so we don't keep anything out of there. And Anna Maria got up close and personal with her first out of water gator. And she'd seen gators before on nature trails and stuff, but we got real close, like 4 feet close. And dude, this thing was just chilling on the road, just letting us take pictures, and pretty cool experience, man.
Hanging out.
Yeah, we take gators for granted a lot. And then when you get an opportunity like that where you can get real close and not be in the water or in a dangerous predicament, and the gator kind of knows, like, hey, take your pictures.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So that was super cool, man.
I think they definitely get to a certain size and age where like they just don't care anymore. They're like, I know nothing's gonna eat me at this point.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever, man. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and obviously there's a danger factor there. Obviously, they're protected. You can't harass them, can't touch them, that kind of thing. So we just kind of let them be, took our photos. But like you were saying, they get to that size where the only way that animal's really going to hurt you is if you messed with it.
Right.
And we were just standing by the car about 4 feet away and just taking photos. And I'm sure the headlights kind of maybe blinded him a little bit. You know, he wasn't in line of the car, so it wasn't that bad. But you definitely get the vibe like, yeah, take your pictures. I'm not going anywhere. It's going to be a long night. you know. So I thought that was super cool, man. And yeah, that's my herping report, if you will. The flipping tin herping report. What about you, brother? You got to tell me about that Marion Island trip. He's temporarily muted as he discusses things with his significant other.
Being chastised. Hold on.
Phil.
Yes? Katie?
Justin.
Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
Justin is sickly and he needs to go to bed early.
No problem. We're going to cut this one short. It's a 20-minute show.
Told you.
20-minute show. It's 20 more minutes, Mom.
Mom.
Forgive me. If
The
I
hot
20
pockets.
believe you.
Ma, the meatloaf.
The meatloaf.
The meatloaf. What is she doing in there? What is she doing?
I just want a snack bag.
God.
What are you staring at so intently? Don't worry about it.
Well, while Smitty is engaging in marital activities of the argumentative kind, I will chime in and say that I made my first trip ever to Arkansas and Missouri.
How was that?
Honestly, it was very smooth, man. It was one of our companies that we sell in my line of work is a very, I don't want to say bougie. They're not bougie, but it's a very high-end product. And we are one of the top, dare I say, 5 or 6 dealers in the world for them. So once a year, they have what they call their elite retreat, where they basically pull those high-end dealers and fly them out to the facility in Arkansas, which is right on the Missouri border. For those who know what I do for a living, it's Berryville, Arkansas. Connect the dots. Dan Colgan, thinking of you. And they fly us out, they wine us and dine us and show us the facility and all the machinery and meet the guys that are, you know, cranking the machines, as they say. And it was super cool, man. And there's like no direct flights anymore, man. It's wild. Anywhere you go. And we had layover in Atlanta both ways. And it was very seamless, man. I was expecting it to be just a shit show, and it wasn't. It was super smooth. The weather was prime for amphibians. I'd say 60 at night and 78, 77 during the day. I was not at liberty to really go herping because I was only there for 3 days. I had my employer with me. We didn't have a vehicle. They carted us around. They chauffeured us around from place to place. It was a very, very rigid schedule. But again, a lot of fun, tons of fun, just shooting the shit and meeting people and eating and drinking. It's crazy. They give you the itinerary and it's like such and such, 10 a.m. and then such and such 11 a.m. and then cocktail hour noon, then such and such 1 p.m., such and such 3 p.m., cocktail hour 4 p.m. It's like, them boys in Arkansas can drink. But it was great, man. It was a lot of fun. However, I did see one lizard that was on a tree, and it was some kind of Scaloporus. I couldn't get a photo. It hauled ass and went right in the leaf litter, but at least I saw one cold-blooded critter while I was there. So that's all I got for that one.
How's the collection?
It's good, man.
On there.
No, they were very what's the word I'm looking for? They were very intolerant of each other. So no aggression, just like didn't want to be near each other. Like the boy was like saying to himself, "Oh my God, how did I get here?" And then the girl's like, "Why is this guy in my cage? Get him out of here." Like I said, no aggression towards each other, but they were just not happy. So after a couple hours, I wound up splitting them up. I think it was just too hot. I think they were, when I put them together, it was just too, the lights had just kicked and they was still warm, ambiently warm in there. And I feel like I need to probably do that early in the morning. I need to do it on like a Sunday morning when I'm home and just put them together like maybe 7, 8 a.m. and just let them warm up together, if you will. Maybe even get them to that 1 p.m. basking time and see if they'll maybe bask together and kind of get them in the vibe. But it wasn't bad. So we'll see what happens. I'm not I'm not abandoning hope. I'm just I'm taking my time. And I was going to pair Cerastes because April is like the month to pair Cerastes. But I feel like my girl that I want to breed is just too small still. And I feel like she could produce, but it's just not worth it. So
Yeah.
I'll give her at least another year, see where we're at. The field eye, I still think they're too small. Again, they could probably do it, so I didn't pair them. And I wound up selling 3 Cerastes to friend of friend, and I picked up a pair of captive bred, arguably 1 or 2 feedings old Namibian puff adders.
Nice.
So they're my new baby pet project. They literally flew in from Germany. Oh, geez, what's today? Today's Monday. So 10 days ago, they flew in at like 1 in the afternoon. My buddy picked them up. Met him at like 5 o'clock, bought them off him, got him home, gave him a drink. Next day, gave them a live pinky each, and they snatched them up like chiclets. So rocking and rolling. They're on
What's
their
the
second feed.
process when you have stuff coming and going from the collection? Like when you have to tell FWC, is it just saying like, "Hey, I got rid of this and I have this now"? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. You're supposed to do a inventory
an
report.
official form?
Yeah, you're supposed to do an inventory report throughout the year, but my inspectors have always been super cool, and they're like, look, as long as everything is up to date and good for renewal and inspection, that's pretty much all they care about. And it's interesting because the way FWC does it is there's uh, a native venomous and then non-native venomous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's acquisitions, dispositions, births, and deaths. And because I really don't breed anything, I really don't sell anything, I usually just draw a big line through that box.
Right.
So in the past, when when I was doing a lot of pygmies that were local to me, I would have to add and subtract and do all that. But now it's very straightforward. So I actually just renewed my my venomous license because it expires in a couple months, and they got this new online system. And anybody who's in Florida who knows captive wildlife, their online system is garbage, man. It's just garbage. So hopefully they get their gears rolling, and it doesn't take me 6 months to do a 1-year renewal where I got to do it again the month after.
Because why would they put tax dollars towards a system that's efficient?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Don't be silly.
Yeah, don't be silly. So, but yeah, other than new baby puff adders, which just to keep on that podium for a second, I know I harp about African species too much, but I've got the Cape locality puffs, and when they're babies, they're fairly drab. They have their normal, chevron grass pattern to them, but it's very brown and gray and tan and very, very drab in appearance. And as they mature, they get the crazy oranges and the yellows and the jet blacks and stuff like that. Dude, these baby Namibians are already colorful. They're like literally like the length of a cigarette, and they're already screaming yellow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll post pictures soon, but just trying to keep them stress free. And like I said, they're on the second feeding, so rock and roll, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, first clutch is on the ground as of Saturday.
Nice.
It's corn clutch. Pied blood reds are due to lay. She's cruising. She just had her prelay shed on yesterday or the day before.
What was the corn clutch? That was a Amel?
No, that one was a Coral Ghost Aztec that Chris gave me at Daytona last year to a Anery Motley male with no known hets. Like, I don't know what hets he has. He was a Craigslist pickup. He's a good looking snake. I liked it. They got it from PetSmart forever ago when it was a baby. So I put him with her just to see what happens. And then Pieds, that Pied Blood Red clutch, she's going to lay here probably within the next week or so. And then I haven't noticed anything with the Ladies Island stuff this year. I have a mail-in with that original female, but I haven't seen anything or any signs of eggs or anything yet. So I'm going to leave them together for a while, and then
Cool.
it's pretty much just waiting on rhinos to do their thing.
Nice.
So.
Any action?
No, not like definitive. They're definitely more active than they typically are. Like the male usually hangs out in his one spot, and he's almost always there. Like it's very, very uncommon for me to see him anywhere else. But he's been hiding out a lot with the female, so I think that's a really good sign. I've been feeding her a little bit more, like pumping her up. This time of year, I start giving him a lot more like small meals more frequently.
Yeah.
And the male, he's off food. He wants nothing to do with it, which is another good sign. So
Sure.
it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And how big was that blood you said?
She's like a small adult. She's not big.
Because I remember when you got her, and I am eager to see the growth, because I feel like
it's not a lot.
My one Miami female, I feel like she's ready, man, but she just doesn't really grow. Like I actually wound up like squeezing her tail a little bit just to see if she's really a girl, because she's just kind of, I don't want to say she's dinky. She's healthy and she's got perfect weight for her size, but I feel like for her age, she should be like 3 times the size. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, some of those though, if it's like one of the wild caught ones, I mean, I think a lot of that key stuff typically stays kind of smaller, anyways. So
yeah, I mean, this was like 20, I guess 15 minutes north of downtown Miami, so it's still fairly north of the Keys, but I see what you're getting.
I mean, like South Florida stuff.
Yeah, South Florida. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that pied girl, like Chris bred her last year, and he got healthy babies from her.
Okay.
I'm not expecting to get like a big clutch from her. I don't think Chris got a massive clutch either, but you know, that's fine by me. It's going to be good because she is paired to the hypo pied blood red male that I used last year and produced all those hypo babies.
Nice.
With that ghost tester female. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
And Lisa wanted to know if the Namibians are the big ones. No, Namibians only get about 3.5 foot. The big ones are Tanzanian. Those are the ones that get gigantic, or East African locality, I should say. So, and how's the Sambos, man?
They're doing good. The female, one of the females just shed, and that was that one I just posted on Instagram like an hour ago. Like,
yeah, it looks great.
The freaking oranges on that thing, dude, for whatever reason, compared to the other two that are siblings, like litter mates, like that female has so much more orange and like yellowish to her than the other two do. It's insane how different they are. But they've been doing really good. I've been drop feeding those. I found that they're pretty shy eaters, so I'll get them. They'll strike and wrap something, but if I'm standing there and I move, like they'll ditch it real quick and hide.
Really?
So I just drop feed them at this point, and they pick up on that really quick and seem to come out and eat. You know,
nice.
Within a few minutes of putting it in there. So, and then that adult male I have, like I still haven't even gotten him to eat. It's not uncommon for them to be on hunger strikes for a pretty big chunk of the year, from the sounds of it. So
okay,
he's just doing his thing. So.
And when you drop feed the smaller ones, are you doing live or frozen thawed?
Frozen thawed.
Oh, nice. You ever worry about? I don't know what substrate you have them on, but I always was concerned with making sure that the frozen thawed is just super dry, because I didn't want too much sand and stuff to stick to it. Do you get that vibe, or is it?
So I have them on that really fine, like Zoomed brand shredded aspen.
Okay.
Which does make me a little nervous.
I feel like that's way better than sand, though.
I don't think it is. I feel like sand boas in general, I think I would not be surprised if they were better equipped physically to handle ingesting substrate more than other species.
Yeah. Maybe not aspen, but yeah.
But I was feeding some of those quail chicks the other day that Hood sent, and I was giving it to one of the bears or one of the corns or something, and they just grabbed it and yanked it under the substrate and just drug it.
Oh God!
So it's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So I had to like pluck it out and then like start plucking aspen off the damn
You just wash it
quail.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, dude. And I was like, I love that fine aspen. Like, it seems really absorbent. I've actually come to prefer it over some of the other aspen I've been using. But when it comes to
Yeah.
feeding, it's an absolute nightmare. It's rough. So,
Well, it's funny you mentioned the dragging it under the dirt, because I was going to wait until a little later to bring this up, but I'm about to send you. I completely forgot to send it to you. I'm going to send you on Instagram, or not Instagram, on Facebook, so we can share it. Where the hell is Justin on the messengers? So this is how prepared we are. I had a crazy stiletto snake observation, and like all the years, I guess it's crazy that I've been doing this for years, those stupid worms. All the years I've been keeping these stilettos, I've never seen this before. Let me send you this, and then I can dive into the story. I'll make it as animated as possible. Where is Justin Smith? Oh, it's because you changed your profile picture. That's why. That's why. Can you hear that airplane?
yeah, it's not like loud or anything.
Okay. All right. So I just sent you these. And I've tried to feed these stilettos all different things, right? I've tried Dale quail. I've tried Dale quail that I got from Rodent Pro. I've tried the hours old quail that Jason Hood gave us. I've tried snails and frogs and worms and slugs and even blue-tail African skinks that I bought alive to try and do that from literally the same shipment that these things came in on. And I've gotten really lucky with Chinese cooked snails and live pinky mice, believe it or not. So that's been my two most successful prey items. And I've had a lot of failure with the genus. I have. But let's look at this photo first. So this is one of my females that will typically always eat in front of me if she's out and about, right? So a week ago, I overflowed that water bowl on purpose because I wanted to kind of simulate a rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't touch it for about 10 days. And I was like, man, it's still really wet in there. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. So I threw the pinky in, and it's a live pinky, as we can see, right? And I obviously I never put my hand in there. I always use tools, but normally you can see where the snake has been because it's usually not this wet. Usually she's moved around some of that cypress mulch and whatnot. But this time I really couldn't tell, other than you see in the middle top, there's like a little divot in the middle, like that to me looked like a little hole. I was like, all right, well, let me lift up the water bowl. And as I went in with the tweezers, the hemostats, to lift the water bowl, I noticed that little one scale. See that one scale inside the blue circle? You may want to go to the next photo.
I'm trying to get to my toolbar.
There you go. So see that one little scale right in the middle? I was like, that's weird. She shed like a month ago, and I thought I got all the shed out. I said, and that scale's really dark. So I went to go touch it with the hemostats, and that scale flicked a tongue. And I was like, oh my God, it's ambushing. So if you go to the next photo, it's a little better. So for those listening on your commute to work, it's a Sterilite type container filled with dirt, some cork, some cypress mulch, a white ceramic water dish, and right next to the water dish is two little snake scales, which is the tip of the snake's face, as it's just got the nostrils sticking out of the dirt. The rest of the snake is completely hidden under dirt and or the water bowl.
Which is funny because that's exactly what the Sambos do too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'll see their little faces just sitting there in a little tunnel, just waiting.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
That's how I know they're ready. Like they're looking for food because they'll just sit there.
Yeah.
And they won't move.
And see, and that's a great observation with the Sambos too. But maybe it's because we know more about Sambos than we do stilettos, but
Yeah,
maybe I'm not thinking the right way with caring for these critters, but I don't really look at them as ambush. I look at them as
yeah. I mean, that's not what I would have
going into.
I mean, if I had seen that, I'd be like, okay, it's clearly like if I had stopped and it was sitting there, and then I came back 20 minutes later and it wasn't sitting there and it was like moved again, then I would be like, okay, it's just hanging out doing this thing, whatever.
Yes,
If I came back like an hour later, like 4 hours later, and it was still sitting there, or even later that day, like at night, and it was still sitting there, and I'd be like, okay, that thing's waiting for food, like without a doubt.
For sure. So after I saw that tongue flick, I was like, oh my God, this thing's an ambush. I need to put the pinky right in front of it because I gotta record this. I gotta observe this. I gotta record this observation to the fullest ability because I keep notes on all my fossorial stuff, right? Whether it be the stilettos or the African garter snake or what have you. So the next picture is actually a video. It is a live feeding of a live pinky mouse. This is for educational purposes, people watching on YouTube. If you don't like live feeding, I would highly recommend that you turn the screen away or, fast forward if you're watching this later on. But the amount of speed and tenacity that this snake shoots out of the hole. And here we go. So I move the pinky with hemostats and I put it right in front of the snake's face. It actually backed up a little bit. And then as the pinky moved, it started to tongue flick and there it is. It came out. So what it's doing is they only stab with one of their two fangs at a time. So it came out, it envenomated the pinky in the hindquarters. The pinky wound up moving over its body. To that point, it flipped around, envenomated with the other fang on the other side of its body, and then pinned the pinky against itself. So right now, it's got one fang on the right side into the pinky, and it's holding the prey item against its own body.
Poor bastard got prison shanked.
Bastard got prison shanked. And I mean, death was very quick. And I actually have probably about 8 or 9 more minutes of it eating the actual pinky, fully consuming it and whatnot. But I was just shocked that this thing just shot out of the hole. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm so happy that I got this observation.
I mean, did the book or anyone else mention that they do that? Like, has anyone else?
No. Excuse me. And there's been plenty of people talking about how they go into burrows and they raid small underground nests and nests in leaf litter and stuff like that. But I don't know anybody that's ever mentioned them ambush hunting like that. So hopefully,
I've always been under the impression that they were much more of like a nest raider that were actively going to nests and eating and
right.
So, maybe I wonder if it's also a seasonal thing to where,
the rains
maybe
are coming.
When it's raining, they don't have to move as much because stuff is moving, and so they'll opt to do that over actively going and searching for food, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was wild, man. My my jaw was on the floor, so to speak. And I just stood there recording and I would stop because it takes them a very long time to consume something like a pinky. Their lower jaw is very, very soft and very malleable. And they don't have that jaw muscles like a boa or a colubrid to be able to really mouth that prey item down. So it takes them a long time to eat something as small as a pinky. I mean, you see the size relation. It's the perfect size prey item. It just takes them a while, which leads me to believe that they really are more lizard and snake eaters, just not the lizards and snakes that I've provided. Right. They don't want anything to do with blind snakes, which I think is hilarious because I feel like that would be the perfect prey item. But yeah, man, to see it envenomate the item and hold the item against itself, I thought that was absolutely fascinating.
That's exactly what I would expect them to do in a burrow as well, like in a nest. To use that space that it has, to its advantage, because you're dealing with a lot of close quarters, in those burrows and stuff. So kind of the way like Pituovis and stuff will do that, where they'll pin it to the side of the tub or
right,
or whatever. That's them just using what they've got available.
Yeah, and I thought it was absolutely incredible that it envenomated this prey item. It positioned the prey item that was advantageous to its consumption. It then consumed the prey item, and throughout the entire process, the back third of the snake never left the burrow. And I thought that was super cool. Like how many other snakes that we see, whether it be sand boas or Pitiophis or Drymarchon, that are burrow raiders and nest raiders, and even boiga to a certain extent, where once they get the prey on them, they're thrashing around, they're flipping over themselves, trying to find, like you were saying, the close quarters wall to be able to pin the prey item. Dude, this thing didn't. It just held it against itself, almost like a chokehold with your bicep, and
Yeah.
it just held it there. And that back third of the animal, I never saw the tail until it was completely done eating and decided to go for a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine that was some kind of digestion reason, or maybe just to be comfortable.
Either that or it was looking for more.
Or yeah, it could have been looking for more. I mean, I wouldn't give it more because that was a fairly large prey item, but who knows, man? You're right. It could be just looking for more. Or maybe it knew that once it had the prey item, it couldn't back into its burrow. So it might as well try and find a new burrow, or maybe go back to its entrance point, which may have been that small little divot in the first photo. Who knows? But Nate says tremors in real life. Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, I was so happy with that observation, man.
It's wild how just unassuming those things look.
I know, right?
When the gloves come off, dude, it's absolute hell. It's like,
yeah, and just so derpy, and it's crazy when you take a photo with flash, the eyes have this crazy reflecting to them, and
like tree boas.
Yeah, but it makes the eyes look even more dead, just lifeless eyes,
like a shark.
Black eyes, like a doll's eyes. I mean, here's that same snake eating. I took a still picture.
Oh yeah, not a soulless.
Yeah, soulless.
That's your wallpaper, isn't it? You freak.
No, it's not my wallpaper. No.
Jeff said feed him spadefoots. He said he'll give you $20 if you feed him spadefoots.
I got to find one first. How about this? The first time I produce spadefoots, I will absolutely feed one to a stiletto just for Jeff.
I saw a book on Amazon the other day when I was cruising. It was like Toads of Alabama or something. I thought of you.
Oh, nice.
Anytime I see toads now, I'm like, Phil would like that.
Nice. Thank you. I love it.
And then I forget to send it to you. I'm
like, that's the story of our lives, right? It's like, oh man, I was going to tell you something. You'll remember at 3 a.m, right?
Yeah, I got some more books. We're gonna have to do another book club episode soon. As soon as I finish some of them. I got that reptile eggs and incubation book. Let me find what the actual title was. I'm really excited to get into it because just flipping through it, I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for when I was talking about like wanting to know how eggs work and like better understanding the physiology of them and how they operate, and incubation of reptile eggs by Gunther Kohler.
Nice. Dude, Gunther Kohler is a hell of an author, man. I got a bunch of his books. Did you have his reptile disease book?
No.
You got to go on Hamilton, find his reptile disease book. And Harry says he likes toads too. And I got to be honest, I chalk up my toad enthusiasm to 50% Harry Claiborne with his beer drinking deck toads, and 50% to Nipper Reed because he's a lunatic who loves a toad. Lisa wanted to know if the ambush on the stiletto snake is commonplace for you to drop it. It chose that spot because it's being near the water source. So the first photo, I usually drop the pinky over there on the other side away from the water bowl because I don't want the pinky to go in the water bowl and drown, which has happened too many times to count. But it's also, there's a piece of cork bark buried over there, and usually the stiletto's under that piece of cork bark. I think it chose that spot because the ground was so damp, it could make an actual burrow, and the soil had structure. Exactly. That's what I think. So I'm probably going to keep that area wet and hopefully not get mold and kind of go from there.
I'm not seeing his disease book.
It may be out. I know I bought his disease book from Hamilton many moons ago.
But there's two other books that I see searching that aren't related to him at all, but the amphibians, reptiles of the Bay Islands and Cayos, Cochinos, Honduras.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Looks very interesting. It's $26.
Nice.
And then the Anoles of Honduras, Systematics, Distribution, and Conservation.
That's cool.
Which that's another one that's probably gonna be really good. Let me see, how many pages is that bad boy?
But you definitely got to get the Kohler disease book, because I think it's reptile disease and parasites or something like that. It's got a green iguana on the cover, and do that.
I think I've seen it. I just didn't know that was who wrote it.
Yeah. That's a great reference. It's a lot of outdated stuff, but it's still relative to our level of education, if you catch my drift.
I love finding books like that, like on Honduras and the islands surrounding them. Like, that's not like the fact that people take the time to write a book about a place like that, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's on my wish list now. Oh yeah, it's right here, staring me in the face.
The one with the iguana?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good.
That's what I was. So I was on Colibri Corruption again last night because
nice.
Joey needed someone short notice, and I was like, I'll do it. And I wasn't feeling like complete garbage. And we were talking about, the like books and stuff, and it's like I'll never complain about buying books, because it's like, even if I don't get around to reading them for several years, like they're at least still there,
Yeah, for sure.
The stack, I have to send you a picture of the stack of books I have sitting on top of a humidor on my dresser, because it's straight up like 20 books tall. Like I keep buying them and I keep adding them to the stack, and it's either Hamilton or Amazon. Like the books I have on my Amazon wish list right now is nuts. And there's this coral snake book I want really bad that came out within the last like 2 years, but it's like $186.
Ooh,
yeah, it's brutal.
What's the publisher?
Oh, it's 150. I lied.
Still.
Advances in coral snake biology with an emphasis on South America.
Nice. Hell yeah.
It was published in 2021, 775 pages.
Whoa, a tome.
Edited by Nelson Jorge da Silva, Louis Porras, Stephen Aird, Ana Luca de Costa Prudente. But it looks good.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, man.
The list I've got of stuff is Field Guide to Snakes and Other Reptiles of Zambia. Looked pretty good. That was like $32.
I think I have that.
Do you?
I think I do.
I need to start making some Fulvius bookmarks, man.
Yeah, you do. You got to make Fulvius ones. That my new favorite bookmark, I haven't bought one yet, but I see them online all the time, is, I don't know if it's leather or vinyl, but it is basically a taco, and the taco has 2 earth magnets in it to connect to itself.
But it clips on like the page?
Yeah, so it's like a little taco, and it goes over the actual page or a stack of pages, and it magnets to itself, right? The taco closes, and that holds whatever page you're on. But that way, if you shake the book or you flip the book or whatever, the bookmark can't slide out or fall out. I as much as I love bookmarks that have the tassel, I always hate that the tassel itself makes an indentation in the paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Handbook of Venoms and Toxins of Reptiles is another one that's been on my list for a while. That's the Macassey book.
Yeah.
The wish list is ridiculous. I've got all kinds of stuff on there.
And yes, Jeff, the book that Harry is speaking about is Puff Adder's The Venomous Landmines of Africa by Dorner, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, I need to get that one too.
Yeah, that book is awesome. I won't lie, man. I was a little bummed that it wasn't just about puff adders. It was about the entire Bitis genus. But then you open it, you're like, oh my God, it's the whole Bitis genus. It's amazing, right? So
there was another one too.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Dark Elapid's Club for Kids Who Can't Read Good Bookmarks. That's it.
Venomous Snakes, Ecology, Evolution, and Snakebite from the Symposia of Zoological Society of London by Wolfgang Worcester and Thorpe.
Whoa, send me that one. I don't think I have that.
I don't think it's
a journal.
There's only used copies. There's new is 159, used is 100.
I never really wanted to pay for books. I always tried to get the cheapest thing I could, right? And I looked for deals, and then the book would be out of print, and I wound up buying it anyway for more money than I rightfully should have. Until I waited like 5 years to find Reptile Life in the Land of Israel.
It's from 1996 though, too.
Oh, is it? Okay. And I finally found that book, and I wound up paying $200. And I was like, man, what am I doing? And I'm so happy I did, because now the book's even more money. They came out with a second version. It's basically a very thick field guide from Edition Chimera. And that book is equally awesome. Casey got me that book. And but I realized after buying that first Israel book that you can't put a price on it, man. Obviously you get what you can afford, but get it when you can, get it as soon as you can, because if it is that good, it's just going to go up.
I find it hilarious. Someone on Amazon named Elizabeth Rachel, I'm assuming, used AI or something to make 99 books in the series of Snake Mastery, Unlocking the Secrets to Successful Pet Snake Care. One of those books is The Many-Horned Adder.
Interesting.
What else?
Interesting.
I think
Where's
I saw
the publisher?
a Cobra one. It's on Amazon.
Is it
Black Mamba,
Johannesburg?
Burmese pythons, Australian coral snakes.
Really?
Colignathus, blunt-headed tree snakes, black-banded sea crate, pet snake book, their care, behavior, feeding, origin, temperament, breeding methods, health tips, and much more.
For black-headed sea snake?
Yeah, black-banded sea crates.
Oh, okay. But banded sea crates. I need to buy that. I need to buy that on principle. 20-gallon long, Tetramin 350 power head filter.
Bombay shield tail.
What is a Bombay shield tail?
Cloud snakes. It's a Cybon, which is hilarious.
This is amazing.
Like, it's so random. Catsby snail eater.
Yeah, you got to send me this link. I got to see this.
Oh, there's a rating. Oh, I got to read this. Where's the review? There's no written reviews. I don't know, but clearly I think someone, like whoever this person is, like they probably just had AI write some bullshit text, and then they're like, we're going to publish it as a book. Wow. And it's straight up a money grab, because it's 62 pages. So you can learn everything you need to know about keeping many horned adders in 62 pages for $7.96 for the paperback.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Whoever this Elizabeth Rachel person is, they the breadth of species they've mastered apparently is very impressive.
I'm gonna put together a PetSmart starter sea crate kit. Jesus, did I ever tell you the time that Fish and Wildlife called me about sea snakes?
I don't think so.
So many years ago, FWC is infamous for getting a undergrad biology student to write their legal paperwork, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible. And whoever did the renewal for the venomous license put the different categories of venomous, and then underneath it was sea snakes. And I don't remember what genus they used. I think it was Hydrophis, but I marked P for pending just to get it on my license. I have no aspiration of keeping sea snakes or sea crates. I'm not an aquarium, but I wanted to have it on the license because I thought it'd be hilarious. Well, they called me and were like, do you have them? Where'd you get them from? How long have you had them? Who sold them to you? I was like, I don't have them. I'd like to keep them. Well, you can't. It's illegal, blah, 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 blah. Are you sure you don't have any? I was like, I'm positive. I was like, you guys inspect my house. Come take a look. The door's open. But I did think that was hilarious. And then the following year, they took it off the list. So somebody finally corrected it. But I guess I must not have been the only person to do that.
Well, there's someone else that's also doing these bullshit books, and they have a Mamba's Snake Pet Care book, and on the cover, it has an illustration of a racer.
Really?
And the description says, your one-stop resource for both beginners and experts. Are you ready to embark on a journey of exceptional snake care and build an unbreakable bond with Mambas? Are you ready to master the art of Mambas? Begin your path to becoming a snake whisperer. Start here. The comprehensive care book is the key to unlocking the secrets of proper snake husbandry, ensuring your pet thrives in the best possible environment. Explore the ultimate guide to caring for Mambas. Like Mambas is capitalized every time because it's just been a copy and pasted.
Yeah, for sure.
This book covers all elements of Mamba's care, from setting up the ideal environment to diet, handling, and health maintenance with simple instructions, insightful recommendations, and professional guidance. This book caters to all skill levels, promoting a greater knowledge of the amazing animals, whether you're a first-time owner or a seasoned reptile keeper.
I consider myself a seasoned reptile keeper who has kept every species of mamba. Personally, I'm going to go buy this book. I have to read it.
Order now and unlock the secrets to becoming an expert Mamba's caregiver. Don't wait. Your snake's well-being depends on it. Take action today and embrace the joy of responsible snake ownership.
Oh my God. Dude, Harry says, I like that you read the word mambas like Christopher Walken.
Mambas.
Mambas. Mambas for my 16-year-old son on his birthday. Mambas.
Well, it's only $1.83 for the Kindle version, so let's buy this bad boy.
Oh, do it. Please
let's
do
delve
it.
deeper.
Oh God, what has this show become?
How do I buy it? I have Kindle. I have the app.
Dude, why am I so excited about this? This is horrible.
Why
Harry
can't
Claiborne
I buy
says
Kindle
dying. Oh God.
Oh, you have to buy them in the Kindle app. That's crap.
And I'm so happy, like everyone who should be listening to this right now, you know, Harry, Billy Jenkins, Henry's in there. Like, this is great.
It doesn't come up on Kindle because it's nothing but a bunch of books on Kobe Bryant, which is cool too.
Lisa says, don't encourage them.
What is this?
Found it?
There's all kinds of weird books when you look up Black Mamba. Friend's Black Boyfriend Part 2. Young Wife and the Prison Guards. Friend's Black Boyfriend. Like, that's
don't
not
put Black Mamba, just put Mamba.
I did. I just put Mambas, and all of a sudden I'm getting Kobe Bryant and like 50 Shades of Gross. What is going on? I just want the Mambas book.
Yes, Nate. House Atreides was attacked by Mambas.
Here it is. We found it.
Harry says your safe search is off.
I guess so. Do I have to actually have like a Kindle thing? I can't just buy it on my phone. Is this real life? Read now. I got the sample. I don't want Britney Spears autobiography. Library. What do you mean? Damn it. It should not be this difficult to be trained in the art of expert Mamba keeping.
Well, Monsieur Black just sent us a super chat. Thank you very much, sir. He says, I'll pay for the book.
Oh. I'm kind of concerned that if I buy it and it goes on my bookshelf that my house might be cursed.
I think you're good. Oh, man.
Let's see.
I actually just got a vision of Dustin having friends come over his house and be like, oh, yeah, these are my reptile books. Be like, what are all those little skinny white ones on the shelf? Oh, those are the complete care for expert level handling of venomous reptiles from Amazon.com.
Oh, yeah. This is a real gem. Okay. Mambas are carnivorous carnivores that prey predominantly on small mammals, birds, and on occasion other reptiles. Through their canines, They inject a potent neurotoxic venom into their prey. Once the venom incapacitates its prey, it will consume it in its entirety.
Freaking Chat
It's got
GPT.
canines.
Yeah.
Due to their venomous nature and potential peril to humans, local communities and herpetologists regard mambas with respect and caution. Avoid encounters with mambas, and if they are encountered in the natural, allow them plenty of space to ensure the protection of both humans and reptiles. Jesus. Do I not get the when to consult? So here's the index, the table of contents. Interactions with humans of mambas, possible training challenges and solutions of mambas, preparing your home and cage setup for mambas.
You got to go that one. You got to go that one.
I don't know if it's
just scroll down, bro.
The sample only lets me go so far.
Oh, it's the sample.
But there's also communication and social behavior of mambas, avoiding foods for mambas, noticeable body signs of hunger, illness, or friendship of mambas.
Friendship. Oh,
when to consult the veterinarian for mambas. Veterinary checkup and qualities of a good doctor for mambas. Good Lord. I feel like someone's going to get this, and then they're going to get a mamba, and then they're going to get bit. And this person deserves to be sued for everything they own.
It's probably not a real person. It's probably some dude in a basement in, Kuala Lumpur with a Google phone.
Human impact and conservation of mambas. Individual and public rights for mambas. Owners and economic benefits from this breed of mambas. Can I breed mambas for profit? So now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, right.
The real questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and assume that every other book that this person has done is just a different species. All that information has just been swapped out with the name of the snake.
I mean, maybe.
What's even more frustrating is this person's probably making 6 figures a year doing this.
Probably. Oh, man.
Stay in school, y'all.
Yeah, right.
Good Lord.
Harry says he's still inadvertently doing the walk-in emphasis on mambas.
I was out in the bush. Found mambas.
Your dad, give me the watch. I give the watch to the mambas.
I put it the only place I thought I could. On my ass.
Up his ass. Billy Jenkins slaps the top of a mamba. Investments.
That's right. Give it a pat on the head.
Oh, that's good.
All you need to know.
That's good.
Yeah, like, dude, the list of species that has a book itself by the same person is just unbelievable.
That's awesome.
I can't decide if AI is good for us or overall going to be our absolute demise. I can't.
Well, you heard about those new robot dogs you can buy that have a flamethrower?
Yeah, those things give me the creeps a little bit.
Well, I found out that the company that's selling them, all they're doing is they make the flamethrower, which I think if you buy the flamethrower from them in like a handheld unit, it's like $200 something bucks. And then the dog robot is a mass-produced plastic one from China. And you can buy that one online by itself. It's just the dog for like $1,200, but they sell the two of them bolted together for like $6,000. Which, I mean, whoever's
not nearly enough of a paywall to stop people from.
And that's what I'm saying is tons of people have that money that's expendable, so of course they're going to buy it. But from what I gather is, it's purely a novelty robot dog, and like if you kick it too hard, it's plastic, it'll just crack and break. So at least we have that going for us.
I think they did that as a failsafe in case they get too out of hand. They're like, look, they're sentient, but they're easily breakable. So
yeah, exactly. Take note, Boston Dynamics.
Take a good steel toe to it, and you're good.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh my God. Man, where did this show go?
I don't know, man, but I have a feeling this AI book thing has probably already gotten pretty out of hand on Amazon. Like, imagine what exists for fish and stuff.
Oh, sure, for sure. But at the same time, I feel like there's a heavy boatload of Darwinism that comes with someone buying a at-home Mamba care book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if it didn't have some sort of effect,
Does it say
on
how many
everyone.
copies sold?
I don't think it does.
You know, like on Amazon, it's like 40,000 units sold.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to show that because it's
Oh,
self-published.
damn. Because that's where it really gets scary.
Why did it sign me out? Remember the first time I discovered Amazon, I was like, oh my God, I can literally buy anything.
Yeah.
Started buying like drumsticks and stuff like immediately.
Well, dude, like sometimes it's really bad because, like, for example, Streamlight flashlights. Streamlight makes a really good flashlight. I sell them in my store. If I buy the flashlight through distribution, I pay, again, making these numbers up, I pay $100. I sell the flashlight for 150, 160 bucks, right? You can go on Amazon on the Streamlight store, like their online, their Amazon store, and you can buy it from them for what I pay from the wholesale distributor, $100. So I stopped carrying them. You know, I'm not going to compete with Amazon, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's definitely ruined a lot of stuff for small businesses because, like, fortunately, I haven't had to deal with it really at all. But we have people like they'll place an order through the website at work for like a festival shirt or something that's going on, and then they'll email us. Like they'll place the order on a Sunday, and then they'll be like calling us like Monday at 11 a.m. being like, "Where's my order?"
Oh, really?
I'm like, "Dude, we're here Monday through Friday. Like, no one's here on Sundays."
Yeah.
I haven't even printed the shirt yet. You don't have them printed already? I'm like, no, because then if I print a bunch of shirts, then I'll be sitting on them for God knows how long because I have to guess as to when they're actually going to sell and who's going to buy them. So,
yeah.
Some people are just like, people did the same when at the cigar shop, like when we shipped cigars and stuff. They'd be like, I placed an order yesterday and I haven't received it yet. And it's like, buddy, you got priority, like first class mail. Like it'll get there in like 2 or 3 days. That's
the
best I can do for what you paid. Like, give me a break.
Remember back in the day when there was no tracking?
Yep. And as soon as it left your house, it was in the Lord's hands at that point.
Yep.
We still play that game with boxes with snakes in them.
Yeah, we do. Jesus. But on a lighter note, Randy wants to know if that publisher has a Heloderma book because he just got a Gila.
Oh,
Golf
I believe
clap.
they do.
Golf clap for Randy.
Gila Monsters. Gila Monster book. So you can get the white cover edition Chimera for $73.96, or you can go the route of a Real Pro and get Gila Monster Lizard Pet Care, simple guide to their husbandry and enrichment, nutrition essentials, behavior, health issues, solutions, breeding and training hatchlings to adults for $7.98.
Oh my God. Oh,
This
Jesus.
one has 4 reviews that are at a 2.2.
And Randy, not to sound cocky, but if you want Gila tips, let me know.
But there's people that actually bought this and reviewed it.
What'd they review? What'd they say?
Horrible AI generated translation. Absolutely useless AI generated text. Some sentences are repeated dozens of times and make little sense. Blurbs appear to be scraped from the net and assembled with little to no editing. Amazing that Amazon allows this stuff on their platform. I would beware of anything this so-called author provides.
Nice.
And then G. Haynes said, absolute garbage. The author starts off saying that this is a poisonous lizard of the southeast. It's a venomous lizard of the southwestern United States and northern Mexico. Section after section is a repeat of the prior section. His quote-unquote facts are suspect at best. I got ripped off. Amazon got ripped off. Anyone who buys this crap gets ripped off, and I didn't like it.
Oh my. Oh
Then
my.
the other one is, while this book is distributed in English, there are many indications that it is a poor translation from some other language. It is nearly 100 pages long, but it is a huge font and double or triple spaced, so you are not getting as much information as you might hope for, especially when many paragraphs are repeated almost word for word. Each section is treated as a mini paper with an intro and conclusion. Almost all sections start with the Gila monster, Heloderma suspectum, is a mysterious and dangerous reptile found in the southwestern United States and northwest Mexico. In fact, this sentence is repeated in some form no less than 26 times throughout the book. The more I look through it, the more I believe this could have only been produced by AI. There are many other great works about Gila monster care available, although none at this low price. You get what you pay for. Why, what would make someone think that for $8 you're getting something decent? Like, you look at the cover, and it's like something I would expect out of like Dollar Tree.
Oh yeah, dude. That's the free pamphlet at Petco,
Without a doubt.
without a doubt.
Crazy. Like, I don't, like, you look at that and you're like, that looks completely legit. Like, sign me up.
Yeah.
The good old Windows 98 era graphic design and like color gradients.
I'm sold.
Absolutely.
And Randy, I haven't personally done the Edition Chimera book. I heard it's pretty good, but my favorite Gila book is Daniel Beck's. Hard copy is out of print, but the paper copy is still in. So if you get Daniel Beck's Gila Monster book, that book is incredible. Covers all the Gilas and the beateds. So FYI, Daniel Beck.
There's a book on Gila monsters for kids that has better reviews than that thing does.
Oh my god, like a cartoon one, like, you know, Harry the Gila.
Yeah. There's one that says Curious Kids Press Gila Monsters, and it's got a picture of a blue-tongued skink on the cover.
Nice.
Amazon, man, what is happening? Y'all got all this money. You can make a package appear at my doorstep in 12 hours. But you're letting this prevail. Oh yeah, that Beck book is the one with the two Gilas on the cover getting it on, right?
I think it's two. Is it two males in combat?
I don't know. It doesn't look like they're in combat, but they may be.
Are they hugging?
That's what I would tell my kid they were doing.
Oh, let me see. Show the screen. I have like first. Oh yeah, they're getting on. That's it. That's the book.
They're hugging.
No, there's another Gila book that has the two males like chest to chest in combat. That Daniel Beck book is awesome, especially all the bead lizard stuff, man, and the different locality types and great photos. Great photos.
Yeah, I need to go back and fix that Gila shirt that I had a while back. I need to come back to that one because I really liked that shirt a lot, but I couldn't get the colors initially to be right. But that was before I really started experimenting with the printers and the settings a little bit. So
yeah,
maybe I'll revisit that tomorrow.
That tangerine Pitchova shirt that you did, that would be a great Gila shirt, just to do the black Gila with that as the color, you know.
The tangerine Pitchova shirt.
Yeah. Maybe not tangerine, maybe honeybell. I don't know.
There's like a gold.
Is it gold? I thought it was more of an orangey yellow.
No, it's gold.
Is it gold? Okay.
But there's a Texas orange, which is what I've done the Subbox shirt on.
Okay.
That would look good too. But
yeah.
I don't know. I tried one and I got all excited, then it printed and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And then I washed it and it really struggled. And I was like, okay, that was before I really figured, like, got things dialed in a little better. So
yeah.
I'll have to try that again. That's a Jason Keller hug. Combat, quote unquote.
Don't make them laugh, guys.
Jesus. Ah. Oh, you know what's funny is I got a text from Luke Myers earlier.
Yeah.
He was like, "Is Rob Stone in California right now?" I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "I was out road cruising last night." And he's like, "I'm 90% sure I met him and Eric and then some guy named Brandon."
Yes, that's them. That's them.
Right. So I messaged Stone. I was like, "Are you guys in Cali right now?" And he must have been busy because he just responded with a little thumbs up.
Yeah.
I was like, "I think you guys met Luke Myers last night
Yeah.
while you were driving. He's 90% sure it was you guys." And I got another thumbs up. And I was like, texted Luke back. I was like, "Yeah, that was them."
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know they were going out there, man, but they got rattlesnakes in the brain, so they had to go. They've been doing these quick little 3-4 day trips, so good for them.
Luke said I was out there solo and was like, "What you boys got?" Probably looked like a crazy desert person.
That's awesome. I hope they actually talked and introduced each other. You know what I mean? East Coast meets West Coast.
Yeah, it's wild.
Dude, they had to know who each other were. You know.
I don't think so. I mean, Luke's been on some podcasts, but it's mostly ChondroCast, in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Blake's exotic feeders. Oh. Let me know. I have 5 sizes available plus first link feeder. Cool.
Oh man, is there anything else you want to touch base on? We'll wrap this one early.
I mean, briefly, your experiences of herping with people that are overly confident with venomous when they probably shouldn't be.
Oh yeah. I don't even know if it's overly confident or it's just a how do I phrase this? They don't realize the stove
Cognitive dissonance of consequence.
Jesus, that got dark quick. No, I was gonna say they don't realize that the stove is as hot as it is. You know what I mean? Like just because the stove isn't glowing red, they assume it's not hot. You know what I mean? And I've been road cruising with people that I thought were reptile enthusiasts, and we came up on a pygmy rattlesnake, and I'm like, "Oh man, it's a pygmy. Here, let me, corral it on the road so that we can get some good photos." And I got 2 hooks in my hand, and I'm scooting this pygmy rattlesnake into the middle of the lane of the road, and the person just walks over "Oh, why do they call them pygmies?" and goes to pick it up, and I literally had to hold out a snake hook and stop them, stop them with a snake hook, be like, whoa, what are you doing? And they're like, "Oh, I was just gonna, it was really cute, I was gonna pick it up." I was like, "No, this is a rattlesnake." And they're like, oh, it's venomous. I'm like, "Yes, it's venomous." So I've had a few of those scenarios. My most common thing is it doesn't matter how experienced the person is. How do I phrase this? Okay. Nipper and I are photographing a pygmy in North Florida. He has I have a hook right above the lens of his camera, in front of the camera, between him and the snake, because when he gets too close, I'm going to lower that hook and stop the camera lens from going closer. As I'm putting my hook in the air to prep myself for that, he has the wherewithal to say, "Let me know if I'm too close." Because when you're looking through the viewfinder of a camera or you're looking through the screen of a phone, you just don't realize how close you're getting. And I've had individuals like him that I deem a legitimate expert, a master of field herping, right? Who has the wherewithal to say, "Hey, let me know if I'm too close." Or other times when I'm like, "Hey man, you're a little too close." And he's like, "Yeah, I see it. We're okay. We're okay." And there's an understanding there. There's a confidence there because of the years of experience firsthand. And there's people that don't even think about that. They don't even know that they should be thinking about that. And it's like, you almost can't get mad at them, or you can't be disappointed in them or upset with them, because they just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Francis Marion, everyone that went was cool, and there's no issues with anybody. But there were a few times, you can ask Sky, where I just kind of had to turn and walk away because I'm like, I'm waiting to hear someone go "ow" or "oh
Yeah.
shit,"
Yep.
because we're cruising and we're finding baby copperheads and stuff, and they're not cooperating. Like probably the most uncooperative copperheads I've ever dealt with, which I feel like is saying a lot. And people that are from out of town that from what I see haven't dealt with venomous really much in terms of like handling and stuff, getting close enough for that even if it's a small copperhead, close enough for that thing to levitate a little bit and reach out and touch you, know.
Yeah.
And then like cameras getting super close, it disappearing off the side of the road into some leaf litter, and so we're on our hands and knees digging around with hooks to try and find just all kinds of,
can't be doing that, man.
Not knowing exactly how far away the nearest hospital is. Turns out it's about a half hour.
Yeah,
because Francis Marion is massive and there's like nothing out there.
Yeah,
but it made me so nervous. And I think I texted you and was like,
yeah.
I think it got to the point where like the next morning we kind of had to have like a little powwow when we were just kind of hanging out and being like, look, if we're dealing with venomous, we need to pay a little more attention to where our fingers are in relation to distance, and like, let's be smarter,
Yeah.
So
yeah. And did you want to like dive into this for real, or do you want to save this for another episode? Because I feel like this is a big conversation that could be had. I don't want to go too much because we're both under the weather, but
that's completely up to you.
I also don't want to leave listeners hanging if they're chomping at the bit now. I think it has a lot to do with just a lack of knowledge and a lack of experience, and that's not a bad thing, but it could become a very bad thing. And so many people don't think about what you just said. How far is the hospital? What roads do I know how to get there? Does the GPS work? Does the GPS?
And that was an issue. Like the guys that didn't have Verizon, their service was very spotty. Like I didn't know my way around there. You could have taken me down any one of those roads, and I couldn't tell you which way to go to get out of there. Like it was, especially at night when we're driving around. I mean, granted, we were cruising mostly on like the main stretch that sort of connects the two townships that are on like both sides of the Francis Marion, or at least a part of it. So it was, it wasn't like the situation where, Doc Juliander almost stepped on that Atrox in Texas, where we were like, literally a very, very, very long way from a hospital to where that would have been a serious situation. But, and I mean, we're talking about small copperheads. If someone were to get tagged by one, I wouldn't have deemed it like a life-threatening situation by any means. Like they weren't big enough to where they, I'd worry about someone not getting to the hospital in a timely manner and them having like serious medical complications as a result.
Providing they're not allergic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't want to have to stop everything I'm doing, take someone to the hospital, stay at the hospital, like basically have to babysit because someone couldn't use the Zoom on their phone or their camera to take a picture, and and just, I don't know. You gotta think about sort of the people you're with too. You don't want to be that guy that's going to be the one that's got to sort of ruin the weekend in a sense. Like now someone has to take you to the hospital, and now someone's got to like.
Yeah, and I don't even. This is probably going to sound snobby, but people like you and I almost have to, in a scenario like that, almost have to be a steward of venomous handling, and I mean, I hate using the word babysit, but basically babysit. Where at this point now, I'm going to sacrifice my. No, I'm going to say enjoyment. That's the wrong word. I'm going to sacrifice my time with that animal for the greater good. I'm going to sacrifice my photography with that animal for the greater good, because I'm going to take it upon myself to be that guy and basically police everyone and be the what's the word I'm looking for? The grown up. You know what I mean? That sounds wrong. I shouldn't say it like that. You know what I'm trying to convey, right?
The local.
instead of me getting on my knees and taking photos with everyone else in a circle,
Right.
I'm now going to stand there with 2 snake hooks with my head on a swivel and watch everyone. And that means that I don't get to take those photos. I don't get to interact with that animal on that level because I have the experiences that I've had, and therefore, for the greater good of the scenario, I should be the one to watch things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I hope that didn't come off smug or condescending, or that wasn't my intention at all. It was more so of a, because I've done this a bunch, I should be the one to watch everyone's back while they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it was mostly making sure like we were paying attention to traffic because there was a surprising amount of traffic on that main drag and a lot of bends and stuff. And of course, every time we'd come across something, it would be on the end of one of these bends. And so, like, you have 4 people huddled around something taking pictures and stuff. And it's like, okay, there's a car coming, like the hazards are on. I've got my flashlight and I'm sort of ringing it like a bell just so they see it as they're coming around that bend. Cause this is like so far out there in the middle of nowhere, dude. Like
It's just blind turns, man. Yeah.
speed limit is a joke. Like when I was going through, I was cruising like 85 through that motherfucker, dude, on my way there.
Yeah.
It's like no one's out there. There's no cops. Like I'm not gonna get pulled over. It's not gonna happen. And everyone else had the same sentiment, I'm sure, because the people we passed, they were just flying. And it was like being on those bends made me really, really, really nervous because I'm like, someone's gonna come screaming around one of these bends, not be paying attention. We've got venomous on the road in front of us. We got people trying to take pictures. We got these cars flying. Like, just a lot can go wrong. And it for the people that were there to find that kind of stuff, like they're excited, and I get that, and I'm glad they got to see it. But at the same time, it was like we really have to pay attention to what's going on around us.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it can happen to anybody. It can happen to me. It has happened to me. I've had people, I mean, dude, when you and I were in West Texas, I remember a time when you were like, hey, Phil, because I'm holding a cell phone, looking through the screen of the phone. I don't realize how close I'm getting because you don't want to zoom in with a cell phone because it gets all pixelated and grainy. You want to get closer, right?
Yeah, but you can still zoom in enough to get a decent picture. Like,
Right.
even with
And-
my
and-
Samsung,
and we did,
it's like,
but-
yeah, if I zoom it in all the way, it's going to look like garbage. But
Or it's going to look like the moon.
yeah,
But I'm saying is like even myself, like I'm guilty of it, and you've been there to say, hey man, you're too close. So like it has nothing to do with, how do I phrase this? It's not just a rookie thing. Everyone does it to a certain degree, but I feel like the people that are not rookies have a more keen eye to spot it and see it, and therefore those people should be stewards and really watch everyone's back for that time being. If
yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
I mean, I didn't want to be that guy that's like, y'all stop being idiots, pay attention. But
yeah,
and I wasn't. It was just one of those things where like, Tino was there with us, and he's a Florida guy, and he's seen all this stuff, and he's taking pictures with his camera, and it's like, but there was a point where his lens was like almost on the tail, like the green part of the tail of one of these copperheads, and it was like a small like yearling, so it was like super spazzy.
yeah,
I'm like, dude, the moment that lens like drops and hits that tail, like that thing's gonna flip out and bolt or whatever. So it's just one of those things. Like I said, I just went back to the car and was like, just gonna hang out, watch for traffic, just do my thing.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tough scenario. It's a what if scenario. You never say what you would actually do until you're in that predicament. You know what I mean? You're in that position to really do it. People train for things their entire life, and when push comes to shove, they shake like a chihuahua. I think that the being polite about it and saying, hey man, you're getting a little too close, you know what I mean? Or hey, whoa, we can't do this. This is not safe. Or hey, let's move over here. There's a car coming. Like those are all things that should be said, that need to be said. And anyone who takes offense to that is selfish. They are,
And it's not trying to be helicopter mom by any means, but it's also like, I would really love to not have to go to the hospital tonight with somebody.
Yeah.
I would love to not have to stop cruising because someone had to get so close to get
Yeah.
a picture. You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. One thing that always gets me is people who, and I'm guilty of it, man. I've done it. People who are not local, they're not as well versed with the species, so they think it's going to do X and it does Y, you know?
mhm.
And we bring along things to aid in our photography, like a baseball hat or a cowboy hat, or Rob Stone had these really cool, they're like deli cups that collapse and they nest
Yeah, it's
inside themselves.
like a water bowl, like the
Yeah, like
silicone
a
water
dog
bowls
water.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but they're like a Russian doll. They nest inside each other, so you have
Mhm.
different size ones. And we get this little baby pygmy rattlesnake on the ground, and like he opens one of the dog bowl things and he throws it on top of it. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. We've corralled it, and now we can take a breath. We could stand up. The rattlesnake's not going anywhere. It's under the little deli cup thing. Well, how do you get it off? It's like you can't really get a snake hook underneath it, because if you do, the snake's going to shoot out through the light gap,
Yeah.
right? Well, the only real way to do it is to grab it from the top with your hand and just lift straight up vertical. And that's what we wound up doing. And it was fairly safe because it was a very small baby pygmy, and you are lifting it straight up vertical. You're out of strike range, but just the fact that you had to put your hand on it.
Still, yeah, I mean, some of those bowls aren't exactly very thick either, like, maybe a pygmy may not be able to get through it, but I feel like a
Yeah,
decent sized copperhead or cottonmouth could,
absolutely.
you know? And,
Things like that. And then it goes back to thinking outside the box with yourself, because I know I told the story on here of me and Casey Cannon in the Everglades and the one kid with the cottonmouth and a bass net.
I
And
don't think so.
no, all right. So Casey Cannon and I are down in Big Cypress, and we're doing a little road cruising, and we found a couple water snakes, found a really cool glass lizard, and it just got dark. And we're really the only people out there. I mean, there's some good old boys fishing and whatnot, driving their swamp buggies and stuff. But there's like a 4-door sedan, and this young boy, I mean, I say young boy, he was probably late teens, early 20s. And judging by his appearance, maybe his tone of voice, he may not have been a typical kid. He was clearly enthusiastic. He was clearly passionate about snakes, and he was on the side of the road with his hazards on. And we pull up, and I was in the driver's seat. Casey Cannon's in the front passenger seat, and I had my window rolled down, and I got a snake hook like next to my leg, and I said, "Hey man, you okay?" Because he had his hazards on. I want to make sure the kid wasn't stuck out there or something, engine died. I can always, call somebody or whatever. I got the GPS too, because there's really no cell service down there. And the kid's like, "Yeah, I got a cottonmouth. They're really cool. I really like them. Do you want to see?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Just be careful, man. What do you got him in?" And I realized I thought he was just holding a bass net. He's holding a bass net with the cottonmouth in it. And this is not one of those bass nets that has a little bucket scoop to it. It's one of those bass nets that's almost like a pool skimmer, where it's very tight.
Yeah.
It's very taut. So he's got this handheld pool skimmer, for lack of a better description, with this 2-foot cottonmouth in it. And he comes over, and I was like, "Hey man, that's kind of dangerous to have in that net. You really should be using a snake hook if you like snakes." He's like, "Oh no, I have one. I have one. It's in the car. It's in the car. I was trying to get a photo. Just trying to get a photo." And I was like, "Okay." And he comes over to the window. He goes, "They're really not scary and dangerous like people think they are. They're actually more afraid of us than we are of them." And I was like, "All right, okay." Like I said, this kid might not be typical. And he gets closer and closer, and the rim of the bass net is about 2 inches away from my window. And I start to roll the window up as he's coming closer, because I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to throw it in the front seat with me. And I said, "Hey man, that's close enough." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you afraid of them?" I said, "Yeah, I'm not too big on snakes." I said, "If you could just keep it over there." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, they're really not scary. They're actually really nice. I'm going to take pictures and let this one go." I said, "All right, man, just you be safe. You be safe." And I started to drive away with my window almost all the way up. And Casey's like in shock, like, what just happened? And I watch, and the kid goes to put it in his trunk. realizes that we're still watching him, goes around to the passenger front seat of the car. He's by himself, gets in the passenger front seat with the snake still in the bassinet, and closes the door. And Casey and I just drove away. And I mean, obviously that was a very peculiar, very odd,
Atypical.
very weird scenario, but there really wasn't too much danger except for the fact that I have no idea who this guy is, what he's capable of, what he's doing. And at any given moment, he could have launched a 2-foot cottonmouth into my lap. And Casey's whole thing was, these roads like the back of your hand. I don't know where we are. I have no cell phone service. And he didn't know that I had a GPS.
Yeah.
So that goes out the window. He's like, dude, imagine what would have happened if he threw it in the window. I was like, I don't know, man. I guess I would like try and stay calm and still and slowly hand you the snake hook. Like I didn't have that plan. You know what I mean? And he asked me, he's like, hey, where's the nearest hospital? And I was like, I think it's in Everglades City, which was at least 40 minutes away from where we were. So you just never know, man. You just never know. And you got to think outside that box. But
it's a lot like going to the range, man. I am not keen on going to the range with people I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Like
especially the indoor ones. Yeah, man. It's too much.
Just makes me nervous. It's not, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the people around me. It's kind of it's much more concerning. It's like when I'm with people that I know are fully competent and know what they're doing, and they have the same sort of attention to detail that I do. It's not as big of a deal, but when you're essentially hanging out with strangers, and it's like you don't know this could be the first time they've ever touched any of that stuff. Like
yeah,
you have no way of knowing.
It's the same thing with snakes, man. They just because they've Googled the hell out of something doesn't mean that they have the knowledge base to work with that animal in the field or in captivity. And again, I'm not trying to sound smug or cocky. Like I hope people aren't. I really am not trying to be that way, but it's something we all need to be mindful of. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. So I feel like this is a topic that we really should dive in more on a whole episode.
We can do that and give us some more time to think of more points.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I forgot you had mentioned that you wanted to discuss this, and I'm glad we got to touch base on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So
it was a good trip, Francis Marion. We did awesome. I enjoyed hanging out with everybody. It was a good time. Just had its moments of concern.
And see now, and Jack Oliver's in the group. He says that scared the fuck out of him.
He was right there. He saw it with me. He saw me. I'm like, dude, I'm going back to the truck. Yeah. Plus, the bugs were really bad. They were like eating me alive. Like if you weren't moving, you were getting swarmed. I was like,
gotta get that Thermacell, man. I got Thermacell in between my feet as we speak. Thermacell for life.
Like a requirement for Florida. You guys like come out of the womb with those in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Butane and heat.
I usually just use cigars, but
dude, I thought that smoking would keep the mosquitoes away until I learned that it's actually the carbon dioxide that they're attracted to, and you're just pumping it out as you smoke.
It's never seemed to bother me. I don't know.
You're just not that sweet.
No, thank you, Sammy. Said they agree. Great topic. I typically listen to y'all on Spotify. It's my first time attending a live stream.
Awesome
podcast. We appreciate it.
That's great. Yeah, thanks so much, man.
But I do think it is time to call it because I feel like my voice is fading very quickly.
Yes.
And I sound like Tom Waits.
You can whisper us out, Tom Waits.
I'm trying. I can't even whisper, dude, because then my voice is gone even more.
Just too bad, man. Go lower.
It's like I freaking gargled hot asphalt.
You sound like the girl from The Ring.
Yeah, I guess. If she smoked Marlboro Reds for 30 years, I'm coming to get you in the videotape.
Yeah, right.
Climbing out the well right now.
Yeah, who's got a tube TV? Because I'm haunting them.
Who watched it? You got 7 days. I got a hatchet with your dick's name on it, motherfucker.
Oh, you got to turn knobs on your TV to change the channel? I'm haunting you.
Oh, you got a Zenith It's all over.
Yeah.
Especially one of them big ones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was more of a Toshiba man myself.
I think I had a JVC.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
With the matching VCR.
All right, I gotta blow my nose. Let's call it.
All right. This episode was brought to you by Black Box Cages. Check them out, Facebook, Instagram. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 10% off your order. Save on shipping. Choose the pickup option. Drive on up to North Georgia. Visit Black Box. Pick up your stuff. Drive home. Set it up. Put your animals in it. And enjoy for eternity. Because the build quality is absolutely outstanding. Lead times are quick. It does seem like things are picking up there. So lead times may be pushed back a little bit. But I think if they are, it's only by like maybe an extra week. Fullbeastapparel.com, spring sale going on right now. No promo code needed. Just buy anything on the website, get the other one 50% off. So go check that out. That's going on between now and May 11th at midnight. Cold-blooded caffeine, best coffee around. Go grab some. That's down below in the description. And get that Snakes and Stogies blend. This works out better that Jenna, had to reschedule because I will be feeling better by that Monday, and I have an absolute ton of questions about Pentastone and that whole thing. So
for sure,
it kind of works out because I was like thinking about it this morning. I was like, I'm gonna just have to suffer through this tonight because it's like this is brutal. But then she's like, we gotta punt, and I was like, okay, that's fine. So it works out.
Yeah, for sure.
THP, I believe, is happening Thursday. I don't think they have a flippin' tin planned. I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
So something will be coming. I don't know what, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
nice.
We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Thank you. We love you.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Mambas.
Black Mambas.